As a medical doctor, it has not been easy, considering that the cost of living in Zimbabwe is increased by a factor of about 1,500%. That against a stagnant salary, which is now something like at $2,200. That was the last payslip that I got, which was about 2 months ago. And looking at the rate at the moment, that is, you can divide that by 20 to get something like $110. That is 110 United States dollars. That is what a Zimbabwean doctor is earning at the moment. And looking at that $2,200, I think the Consumer Council of Zimbabwe released an article recently which was saying that the food basket, which contains the basic commodities of a Zimbabwean, is somewhere around $2,300. So that alone can show you that the money that we are earning at the moment cannot even afford to buy adequate food for any family. And then also, we are not looking at the rentals. At least myself, I'm privileged, I'm living in a government hospital. But this government hospital, I have to part with something like $535 just to pay for this apartment. And I have my friends who are not staying on the hospital because only less than 25% of the doctors are able to be accommodated by hospital accommodation. I know of someone who is paying 1,500 Zimbabwean dollars on accommodation alone. And to tell you the truth, it's something that is deplorable, considering that when we went to medical school, our family sacrificed everything for us to come here. Like myself, my mother is a vendor and my father is self-employed. So they would sacrifice all the resources just so we could go to school. And their hope was that when we are done with school, we would then send money and also at least send the young ones, my little brother, to school. But if I tell you that since I started working in January, I've not been able to send even a single cent to contribute towards the fees of my young brother. It's still my parents who we have to struggle again in order to continue to take my brother to school. And I'm just mentioning my brother's fees. I also have to send my parents, because I've told you my mother is a vendor, my father is just self-employed, he does some piece jobs. I still have to send them money as well, of which I've not been able to do that. So I think as a Zimbabwean doctor, that's just a snippet of the challenges that we're facing in terms of trying to live in Zimbabwe. I was born to my father and mother. We are a family of 7, and I have 3 elder siblings and I have 3 younger siblings. The sibling who comes after me right now is doing his A-level, and I have another sibling. That's the one that I was talking about that I have to support very soon. That is next year. You'll be going to university. And then I also have another one who is in Form 1, who comes after the one who is in Form 6. And then I also have another sibling who is still in primary school, who is in grade 5. So and then I also have my parents. And of course, while I was going to school, I told you my parents are not so rich. So it was I was brought up by so many people. And those people, they also expect me to maybe just chip in here and there. So I would say the dependents that are directly on me are around 5, and then with the extended family, the figure goes up. I am a Zimbabwean. I was born, bred, and I was educated here in Zimbabwe. So it would be a privilege to be able to work in Zimbabwe. So the fact that I've been fired at the moment, of course we are going to try and re-engage the government, because we know that doctors here in Zimbabwe, even the numbers that have been fired at the moment, they were not sufficient to actually cater for the entire population. So we are going to try and re-engage them and try to make them to reconsider the decision that they made. However, if they fail to reconsider the decision and rehire us and pay us well, then we are going to be left with no other option than to explore other avenues of living, like having to go to the diaspora, where we feel our services are going to be appreciated and we are going to be better remunerated, because we believe as a health services, medical doctors, we are an essential service, and our skill and our passion to help people is already in us. So even if we are going to go to the diaspora, we are still going to be able to help people, but we would want to work in Zimbabwe. I graduated this year, so I'm not married yet, but my plans Like when I was planning, I was hoping that probably in my 2nd to 3rd year of working, I would get married and then start my own family. But then at the moment, if I tell you that I don't even have a single saving, so I don't even know how I'm going to start, because in our African tradition, you have to go and pay lobola, and then you have to show even the family of the bride that you are able to take care of their child. So at the moment, I don't have the savings, and I don't think I'm capable. So I don't know when I will start my own family. It's actually a mystery at the moment. But I do have a girlfriend, and she has been supportive. She knows that we are critical, and of course our ticket is that with time we are hoping that this country is going to improve. That has been our card that we've been waiting on, and in terms of thinking that the savings that the earnings that we have now are able to cater for her, of course probably getting a basic life. She thinks that we can get it. If we are going to get married, we are going to try and make it work, because as they say, we have to start together and get somewhere together. So that's what we hope for.